About 2 years ago, Ghost Games and EA Games released a reboot of the Need for Speed series with a title of the same name. It borrowed heavily from the Need for Speed Underground and Most Wanted games, featuring an open world, deep customization, police chases, and arcade handling, while adding a dose of current car culture with various automotive heroes, that is Ken Block, Magnus Walker, etc. Overall, it was plenty of fun, but had a large number of quirks such as a lack of manual transmission, an online requirement even when playing solo, and a rough physics engine. Now we get our hands on the game's successor, Need for Speed Payback. Though the premise and setting are new, it is very much a continuation of the previous game in spirit, one with many improvements, but a few new issues. This would have been alright, but it was usually necessary for navigating turns and often scrubbed off too much precious speed. And the drifting that's often necessary no longer seems to scrub off much, if any, speed. Thankfully, it also doesn't require using the right analog stick, as the previous game required in an update. Nearly every car can have nearly every part tweaked, including lights, bumpers, mirrors, fenders, hoods, trunks and wheels. Need for Speed Payback Jaguar F-Type. The chips tie in with the game's Las Vegas and gambling theme. Unlike that game, Payback takes place in a bright Las Vegas look-alike, rather than a perpetually dark and rainy locale. Once loaded, everything looked great, but for longer than we would like, the game could look a generation old in the graphics department. This time, there's a story about a corrupt gambling group called the House taking over the city in street racing, and apparently the way to defeat it is to win a big racing championship. It's a generic and cliché story conveyed by equally generic and cliché characters. Drag Mustang and Need for Speed Payback. When buying a car, you have to decide whether it will be a drift, drag, runner, for pursuit events, off-road, or plain race car. Now you have 6 slots with generic performance names that can have a part card assigned. Some of the cards will help, some will hurt, and they can only go in the slot named on the card.